Hello and welcome back to the BoxOut Podcast. I'm your host, Marco Trimboli, and with me today I have David.
Hi guys. My name is David Yang. I'm one of the performance coaches here right now.
Very nice. Thank you for coming in, David.
No worries for that.
I know transportation is a little tough, so I appreciate it. We're really looking forward to this. So tell me or tell us a little bit about David Yang.
Okay, cool. So hi again. My name is David Yang. I'm a first year student going to my second year in Schulich, and I'm here working as an intern for a BoxOut performance coach, and I come from China, so I'm an international student. So it's been starting from this September, it's gonna be the third year. I live in Canada, so that's all.
So third year you live in Canada.
Yep.
International student. So you came from China.
Yep.
Tell us a little about that.
The way actually I choose to just come here instead of studying in China is something related to my family issues as well as the more it has more opportunities or better opportunities here. So I choose to come here for the university plus I choose to go to Schulich because it's a really good school, and that's it. All my family is just actually they're all in China, and I'm all here all alone.
Yeah.
I have a little brother. He's gonna turn to 4 September the 8th.
Oh wow.
So it's gonna
next
be
week.
Next week he's gonna turn to 4. So that's my family.
very, very nice. And and that's it must be a tough thing coming from China, with nobody but yourself, and
that's
coming to this education and where you said it's a better opportunities here. So we'll go more, and that's the whole point of this podcast, and that's why we brought you in, because we want to find out how this 21st century of being a student is, and I think you're a perfect guest today just to see, that transition from coming from a different country to Canada. So give us a little bit behind that, how you feel when preparation, getting prepared, all that kind of stuff, and just in general, how it is to adapt to things like this.
So to be honest, the things are really different compared to China as well as Canada, especially for the whole education system as students. Because beforehand, everything we do, we didn't use a laptop in our classroom. So we just use books or notes instead. We didn't use laptops. Only the teacher has it. To just show some slides or so, and we have to take notes for that. But in here, we somehow use laptop in our classroom to just make more notes or Google it. No way, it's not going to happen in China at all. That's the first thing. And we have more and more clubs or extracurricular works for the volunteers or all these kind of social events we have to go to instead of just focus on study. And that's, I think, is one of the major difference between China as well as Canada. Okay. For sure, we have some kind of events for that, but it's never our one of the major stuff for us. So that's why actually when I actually first came here, I could see a really huge difference for me in a way. Just try to adapt for that.
That's great. I didn't know that whole the students are not able to have laptops or not using laptops. That's very, especially like you said, in this 21st century that people are using phones, everything.
That's true. Google
stuff like
no
that.
Phone, no laptop.
the old school pen and paper. Put it to the task and stuff. But how do you feel, especially or even yourself? Because I'm sure I know myself growing up, I had a lot of expectations from my family to do this, be this, all this kind of stuff. This is all assumption, and this is what we want to learn more about you. Is how was that going to feel? What were expectations from your parents? And what are they? I'm sure everyone, doctor, surgeon, all this kind of stuff. Did you ever feel that kind of thing?
In a way, I have. Because for my parents, they actually have expectations for me to go to somewhere in finance, for the stocks. My dad just continued telling me, man, it's going to be a really huge, really popular, famous job in the future. So to do jobs for finance or so in the future. But actually, it's not kind of my way to do that. To be honest, my parents are actually pretty good. So they actually just support my own opinion as well. To just make it somehow just do your own choice. We just give you some recommendations for that. And that's, I think, I really like their attitudes about this one for sure.
And that's great. And kudos to your parents. I've never met them, but knowing you for this long, I know they raised a good kid. But just seeing that in the school system, and it's been a while since I've been in school, but just seeing that everyone is expected to be perfect.
That's true.
Right? Everyone's expected to you got to know this, you got to all this kind of stuff. We're all expected to kind of learn the same way. But we all know, and especially your time at BoxOut, I remember that was one thing that you guys were intrigued about is how we go into depth with everybody and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing where we just wanted to show and educate, through these podcasts, through these Instagram posts, through whatever the case may be, is to educate and show that we are all different. We all learn differently. We all take in information differently. So we can't expect everyone to kind of be perfect.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, no one's perfect.
yeah.
And I'll say this on candid. If someone says to you they're perfect, they're lying. Because no one is perfect, and that's just the way the world works. And more into that. So first year. So this is your first year at Schulich?
Yeah, first year in Schulich.
And what are you taking?
Like all the stuff is actually in the curriculum, so I don't have a lot of choice for that. I think we're gonna be more choice for in the third year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna be specialized in data, for like business analytics as well as for the marketing stuff. I think.
That's awesome. So what are kind of like you're as a first year, because again it's been a while since I've been in school. So what are kind of like your responsibilities as a student?
It's totally different. It's totally different from high school as well.
Yeah.
And first of all, you have to go to classes for sure, do all the assignments. Something else is actually I didn't expect for all these kind of case comps.
Okay.
Case competitions for the network events. You have to go to meet somewhere else or meet someone else, as well as do all the extracurricular works for all the jobs or all the clubs with that.
Yeah.
And just chill yourself as well. That's a lot. That's way more than I expected for sure.
It's so much to take on. It almost overwhelmed you.
Yeah,
you're expected, especially again, and kudos to you. It's you're coming from a different country where this is all new to you.
Yeah.
And you got to just adapt to everything. And that's the thing where a lot of people don't realize where it comes to adaptability, it takes a psychological toll on us. Because it's, and you know this from being your time at BoxOut, is one of the traits we actually measure.
Yeah, that's true.
And with adaptability, and this is where people kind of get confused, when they see themselves low on adaptability, they're like, oh, but I can adapt to anything. And it's not that you can adapt, it's harder for you to adapt. And even people are like, oh, but I do this, I do. Yeah, you might, but deep down, you're really struggling with it. You'll still be able to do it. But and that's how we get to know someone. That's how we get to work with someone. Because, again, even for me, I'm the type of person that I was never good with change.
Yeah,
I needed to stick it within my comfort zone. Even in the house, if someone moved the couch another position, I'd freak out.
Weird for that.
I freak out. Like, what is this? I'm like, I had the angle from the TV. I'm like, no, this is not good. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these kids today, especially in the 21st century, they're expected to adapt with a whole new level at the end of the day, especially now because of this whole pandemic that happened.
That's true.
It's the unexpected. So, are you kind of skeptical of what's going to happen, going back to school, or what's your thoughts on this?
It's gonna be different for sure. Everything. To be honest, in a way, every day is changing. That's why all the situations are changing around me as well. Because for example, for this year, it's in summer. I'm supposed to go back to China.
Okay.
But with all the pandemic stuff, as well as for the safety concerns, so I think I didn't go back. So that's one of the major changes I have to consider because I'm all here alone, all by myself, without my family. That's something I have to adapt to. Plus, I have to deal with all the pressures for the internship here. So I have to figure out more and more new concepts or more and more new stuff from BoxOut.
Yep.
Which I enjoy, but still that's a lot for me to take.
And the word, like I said before, overwhelmed.
That's true. That's kind of overwhelmed for me for sure. Sometimes I just it feels stressed out for sure. In a way.
Especially because you're 19, right?
Yeah, I'm 19.
Yeah, you're 19, and I can just imagine a 19-year-old, a whole new country, a whole new thing, and I'm sure too, because your whole family's there. Over here, you have nobody, so
nobody. Yeah.
So where are you staying, on campus?
Yeah, I used to stay on campus. Now I just find somewhere else around the school for sure.
But that's a lot of too for a lot of stuff for a 19-year-old where expenses now too. Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
right.
True.
Not only you got to worry about the school, the responsibilities for schools and stuff like that, but also expenses with staying in, food. And then even doing this part time with BoxOut for the internship these past it's been 4 or 5 months, right? Time flies. How, you know what? And let's go into that a little bit more. Like, what was your experience? Like, what did you enjoy? What didn't you enjoy? Well, BoxOut. This is honestly, this is what we want to talk about. We're the most transparent company that you can see.
Yeah, that's true.
We tell truth. We tell facts and stuff. So, what was your time at BoxOut? How was that like?
That's pretty good. I really enjoyed the past 4 months for that. Actually, I learned a lot as myself. It's not as a student, as a person as well. So actually, I learned so much from that. Plus some of the specific traits or some part of the specific training that actually I get as well. So like they improved me as a person as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I really like it, especially for some like for example for more like the memory stuff or like for the cognitive side for that. I actually just train more and more, like get more like be more sensitive to numbers or like be more sensitive to names for that because I suck at naming. Like I got pretty low score for that, so like that's why actually I try to just get improved for the last 4 months for that. One more stuff is the like for the psychological side, especially like after actually I get training for Riser,
Mm-hmm.
like I know like the adaptability, I know like conventionality, I know all these kind of somewhat familiar but somewhat strange words for me, and like I just get more like a clear or like more complete like this kind of assessment or like this kind of experience for me for the past 4 years. Oh, 4 months. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I really like it.
And I remember because when we gave you your assessments and I was the one that went over your reports with you. I remember when we got to that psychological report and you were just blown away with like how accurate it was.
Yeah.
You were almost scared, and so was I when I first did it, to be honest too. And just when we went through the traits there, like mental toughness, especially attention to detail, with you, I remember that one. But I knew one of them, which was
93.
kind of a little bit low, was the adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability is kind of low as well.
Right, out of all your traits there, and I was just knowing you more and understanding where you came from. It was a difficult one, and again, not saying that you can't. It was just tougher for you, but you still managed to do it because everything else for you, like your mental toughness, your attention to detail, your growth mindset, everything else was higher. Your coachability too, and all this kind of situations that you were in. It just made you into the man you are today, which is good though. But this is stuff that we need to find out in ourselves. And like you just said, not only as a student but as a person, it helped you so much in these past 4 months to learn more about yourself. Like you said, you weren't good at names. If you didn't need BoxOut, you wouldn't have known anything about this, right? Like, you would be like, hey, Bob. You know what I mean? Like, that's the things where we try to help everyone to just know more about themselves, but not only just know, do something about it too, right? And like you said, you did your training through Riser, through Content, through all our partners there, just to help yourself develop. And here we are 4 months later, and I can see progress, and I'm sure
I got improved for sure.
You can see progress. So out of all the traits, we know adaptability, but out of all the visual cognitive thing, which one is your favorite?
I like to say for the cognitive side as well.
The cognitive side?
Yeah, I really like it because actually, like, in a way, I know the psychological factors are more like to be inside my own stuff as well as like to improve more like as a person for sure.
Yeah.
But for the cognitive side, actually, it just gave me the most obvious like all the improvements for that for sure. Like like to be honest, like because especially for like all the stuff actually I been there or like been through like for the past 4 months as well as my own personal life, I could see some of my improvements for sure, like, especially for the memory stuff as well as for like the focus speed or like the response time for that. I could see like in some small like, examples for my life, so like that's something I really like for that.
No, that's good, and I think when it comes to the cognitive side, I think a lot of it too, especially a lot of the traits that we measure, helps you as a student, like planning. To be prepared for everything as much as possible. But again, everyone can go out there and say, yeah, I'm a good planner. But really, are you? And that's the thing. Even within ourselves, we're guessing. We think we know, but until we have our measurements, until we know where we stand, we really don't know that much about ourselves either. And I can say that about me too. Like personally, until I did my assessment, so to say, I got more in depth about myself that helped me to be the man I am today. Like to be honest with you, if this was a year ago, I would not be able to do this. I hated to be in front of cameras. Like I just didn't like the sound of my voice. I couldn't do this. And now this is episode 3, and many more to come. Right?
Yep.
So it's just, again, and I gotta thank BoxOut, I gotta thank Abs, I gotta thank Varun, I gotta thank all these guys, and I'm just glad to be a part of it and have you a part of it as well. You, all of you, like all four of you, to be a part of it was just been a great experience.
Yes, sir.
So kind of like strategies. Let's talk strategies now.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's think about strategies. So you all ready for next week, or you start next week, right?
Yeah, school starts next week.
So what is, because I know especially this pandemic too, but I know before this pandemic you had to probably deal, and this is all just speculation, but you had to probably deal with a lot of stress.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, a lot more.
So how can you now, knowing, since you've been a part of BoxOut, how can you strategize and plan, let's say, to kind of adapt to the new norm or adapt to the new school year to avoid like the stressors? Now that you did all your training, you did all your assessment through BoxOut, how can you now be prepared for situations?
Yeah, like in a way, because we actually before I just came here, like no one actually taught us how to deal with stress or that. Like you could see, like school is somewhat kind of a full-time job in a way, because like right, like you have to go to school for like around like 8 hours per week, per day, and 40 hours per week.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it could relate to as a job as well. So just adapt all the stuff for like how to work, how to deal with stress in the work to the school as well. So one stuff actually I will do in my second year is to try to make a really clear or like make a really simple plan for me, like per week or like per month or so. Because I know like apps just did us with our goal review setting worksheet, right? Like I really like it. For the past 4 months, it's been like 4 times since I actually just talk with apps about like what's my goals are, like have I actually just achieved that also. Actually just gave me a pretty clear guideline for me to, especially I think I'm gonna just use that when the school starts as well. Just make it more clear, or like make it more, just divide every stuff into some small, really easy steps. You know what? Like this actually is pretty similar to what my dad just told me all the time. Like he's been talking to me for this one like for the last 10 years. So like what he says is that if there's something big for you, or if there's something really huge for you, break it down to something small. And if there's something small, just make sure you're just actually very good at it. You're professional at it. That's how you're actually gonna like deal with every stuff like in your life as well.
And I like you brought that into with your father saying break it into small steps, and that's what we see a lot of in society. And I'll say, like, again, prior to BoxOut, I used to do it too. A lot of people try to go from step 1 to step 20 in 2 steps.
No, it's gonna happen.
Everyone tries to do it in 2 steps. Step 1 today, then tomorrow I'm gonna be at step 20. And this is something you guys I say this a lot. Patience and process.
Yeah.
And it's always a process. You got to go one step at a time. Like the Drake song. You don't use 0 to 100 real quick. It doesn't happen. it takes time with that, where, like you said, you got a high goal, but make yourself little goals in between there until you reach that high goal. And that's what's very important. And I'm glad your father even taught you that as well, because it's so key for ourselves. Because if we don't do that, if we try to go to the end goal right away, we're going to be so stressed out. The anxiety comes in. All this other factors start overwhelming us, causing us to, freak out. And that's what we try to teach people is, and a lot of it too is I say, remember what your expectations are compared to someone else's expectations.
That's true.
Because timeline-wise, you create it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone else tries to create it for you, that's dictating your life. And a lot of people try to do that because a lot of people try to put that stressors on us. But the difference is how we allow it to affect us. And that's the key, where we gotta, write out those little mini goals. So that's very important. So you're doing any more extracurriculars you said you're doing this year? Like you're prepared for what kind of curriculars you doing there?
Like I'm going to take part of the UBS as well for like our undergraduate business society for the international community. That's the first thing. Second thing is gonna be like the mentor stuff. Actually, I'm taking part in one of the mentor programs for our school.
Okay.
That's something else. One more stuff is like I want to maybe try to get a part-time job as well, like during my school year, or like just try to focus on more about like marketing club or like the consulting club. That actually those are somewhat like the direction I want to pursue in the future. So like I want to make it more time for them, like instead of only school or only study for them.
Okay, so you want to be you want to get as much experience in that
Yeah,
field
as much experience as possible. Yeah.
Which is great. How about sports stuff like that? Because you said you used to like play baseball, right?
Yeah, I used to play baseball. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Now, like
Retired?
yeah, somewhat tired, but during the pandemic, you cannot really do much for that. So like,
very very true. That's it's been crazy through the sports world with this whole pandemic stuff.
yeah.
Again, just crazy times, but this is stuff that we need to adapt to.
That's true.
Right, that's the whole purpose of it to adapt to the new norm in a sense. So yeah, what else was I gonna ask you? So, you're doing the extracurricular stuff with the school. You're doing you're being prepared stressor wise. How, you know what? Let's talk about this. How did you come across BoxOut?
Actually, it was a career fair, like in February. So like, to be honest, like actually I had a kind of a clear line or like clear plan for me on my first year as well. I want to find an internship. Like I tried to find an internship because I know it's gonna be my first year in university. I don't have a lot of experiences, but still I have to try for that, right? And that's why actually there was a YSBA, like one of the club's career fair, and I just went there. Just I went there, like I saw so many really like successful businesses as well as BoxOut. Like I still remember, like BoxOut is one of the corner there. Like if you see like the Central Station, actually it was there, like for the Central Station as well. I really like it, but like that's not my major part. So Alex just talked with me, and he just showed me for like the strolls.
Okay.
Oh man, like that would just blow my mind. I really like it. Like, actually, I tried it on. That's why actually okay. So what they're doing is actually I like. Plus, like I really like their technologies, or like I really like the way he tells me. Plus, like I can see, like, cause what Alex just told me is that like what we're trying to do is actually just trying to improve yourselves. Just make the rest of the 99% of the people to actually get access to the top 1% technology. That's something I want to work on as well. So that's the initial, like that's the ultimate reason why I actually just want to join BoxOut.
So the strobe strung you along. Once you saw the little Century Station, the strobe, you're like, okay, this is something I can really enjoy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I'm glad. Everybody loves those strobes because this is something new. They don't see them. And again, this is like we told you guys, it's all about education, right? Once we start educating people and telling them what's about the training, because we see everything when it comes to the physical training, right? Every tool possible. But when it comes to the mental training for the eyes and the brain, next level. It's completely next level. So that's what's good about that. No, but I'm glad that that connection was made, and you guys came a part of it, especially you. And I know you took on a couple projects yourself.
Yep.
So tell us about that. What did you, I know what you did for us, but like just explain about it. You created our TikTok.
Yeah. So actually, like for the past 4 months or so, like what I mainly focus is for one of is our TikTok account. So BoxOut Performance TikTok, and like try to make it somewhat like educate others or like educate the public, plus just get more have fun for that. Because I don't want to make it like somehow, in my opinion, I don't think science is gonna be really a serious subject for us. It's gonna be something somewhat fun for us. So that's what I'm trying to do, trying to like make it somewhat related to life, somewhat related to you as well. At the same time, just try to educate others. And second thing is I try to make a social media campaign, like to just raise our awareness, just let more and more people know about BoxOut. But something happens during like around June or so for like the Black Lives Matter. And that's when actually I try to change my focus to the charity stuff for the donation. So that's what actually we did for like the whole BoxOut like donation stuff to Black Youth Helpline. And actually I just emailed them last week for like to the organizations about we want to have this kind of like long-term relationship with them, because we know it's all for a good cause. Plus we can actually use their help to just increase our awareness as well, plus help them as well, help the society. So that's something I actually just work on for like around a month or so. The rest is just like help others, for like help my colleagues do some of the like the website designing, as well as like do more like for this podcast as well. And like try to make some relationships with other like clubs or so, because I know there was one of the club called Caps. So like there is actually one of the man just reached out to me. So that he just said about like, okay, so I know like Box is doing great. I really like it as well. He wants me to just have this kind of relationship to just for us to present the workshop in one of their events. So that's what I actually just focus on for like around 2 weeks or so. That's something more actually I work on for sure.
And that's the greatest feeling sometimes when people are reaching out to you when they
that's true. That's so
because I know when I first started, like every time you made a call or an email, like, oh yeah, BoxOut Performance, like who's that? And now over time, people are reaching out to us.
That's true.
And calling us and see us here, see us there, and that's where we've seen the growth the most. I think Abs and I, and we just love it because that just shows that what we're doing is effective, and it's going around the world. Because to be honest, even around the world, like I'm getting calls from people from Egypt, Brazil, stuff like that. It's just that's where it shows where we're on the right path.
That's true.
But obviously, there's again talk about process. We gotta take our time. Step 1, step 2, step 3.
True.
and a key thing too is again adapting to anything that comes our way. We had to adapt with the whole pandemic. We couldn't use the Century Station to do our training or testing because we weren't allowed. Right now, during this podcast, we're wearing our masks, and this is how people are trying to adapt to the new norm. And adaptability gets so much. There's so much misconception about that. Everyone thinks they can do whatever it is. Everyone thinks that they're good at doing it. Everyone thinks that it is what it is, sort of saying. That's a word that that's a saying I hate saying. I can't stand it because I know when people are saying it is what it is, it's just them holding into, suppressing those feelings, especially when times are tough and they just go, it is what it is. So people need to, especially now, start learning how to adapt to the new situations because there's never going to be a straight line. And I've said this on previous podcasts and I'll continue to say this. There's always going to be a curve. There's always going to be a bump. It's how we're going to be prepared for those. And again, until it allows us to affect us, that's on us. We control that. No one else.
To be honest, I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You talk about more about adaptability for that.
Mm-hmm.
I share kind of my own way to do that. So do you have any kinds of general just tips for how to adapt, especially during the pandemic?
I honestly, so you're asking me how do you handle those situations?
Yeah, because you're a performance coach, right?
Yeah.
How do you actually?
When I talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, and I told this to you guys, and I say this to everyone, and I've said it now in this podcast, is just be yourself. Just do you, because at the end of the day, no one knows you better than yourself.
That's true.
And like we talked about, what are someone else's expectations compared to your expectations? They're going to be different, right? And that's the thing. And I can only talk from experience. My personal experience is I was, expected to be a part of the family business. And I was for a quite long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just never for me. I always wanted to do more. And then finally, until I had the courage to step up and say, this is what I want to do in helping others and develop others, especially mentally, I didn't make that choice until it was later.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's never too late.
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the day, because if you start thinking anything's too late, then it's never going to be done. And it's just going to be a lot of unpleasant scenarios for people.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can say for people just to avoid the stress, because a lot of people have stress with job, school, life, whatever the case may be, sports, whatever the case may be, is just be yourself. Because at the end of the day, once you're yourself, you're true to yourself, everything else comes a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just from a personal opinion, experience of my own. Once I started being myself and being true to myself, it started making things a lot simpler in life.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Well, yeah, no, I was not expecting that question, but I just got a little into it there.
Yeah.
So talking about that, yeah, I think pretty much we pretty much cleared the air with adaptability. I think it's pretty clear what it is
Mm-hmm.
and how important it is, and I'll even go on a sports side quickly. So think about it this way, and I've talked to a lot of coaches. I've been part of a lot of teams myself, and a lot of coaches here and again they should be, are happy to get their players scholarships to other countries, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But what they tend to forget is once those kids go to another country, how difficult is that for them to be in a whole new scenario, a whole new life system, away from their family? And I can bring this about with you, right?
Yeah.
And you can talk about personally. It's not easy.
That's
But
not
everyone expects it to be like, hey, deal with it. This is what I got for you. This is what you got to do. Go play your best soccer. That's it. And they just think it, snap of a finger, they're going to be good. They might. But the thing is you can't just expect someone to just leave their family, be in a whole new lifestyle, whole new thing, out of their comfort zone, sort of say, and just pretend like everything's okay. And that's why I think like this was a great topic to bring you on today, because you're living this. You're going through this every day. So let's say this then. What would you say to these kids who are going to other countries for school, sports, jobs, away from family stuff? What's the the advice you can give them?
My own experience is that like actually like from a strategy point, if you want to actually try to make your mind to go there, first of all do some like research before you actually go there. Like you have to understand like what is it? Like if you want to go to Brazil, if you want to go to Egypt, like what's their culture? What do you have something to avoid? Like you must avoid. Like do you have something like culture that it's different for you? And then when you go there, try to make new friends for sure. To just make some local friends or like make some like friends that actually you're familiar with, and try to talk with them. Like the best learning way to just live a life is to live a life for that. So like you have to experience more and more once you're there for sure. Don't be afraid to make any kind of mistakes, because you all know like it's pretty understandable to just like, because I'm new to here, so like I can see like there's some kind of stuff are different like by the way actually I act in the before. One more stuff is that like try to talk with your family, so try to talk with your friends to just try to alleviate all the pressures for you, because it's gonna be a huge difference for sure. Like some of my own personal examples, like 2 years ago when I actually first entered Canada, after I just went out from Pearson, I just go to my homestay's house. From early next day morning, I just went out for a walk. I went to Tim Hortons. I want to buy a coffee. I don't know what is double. Literally, I don't know what is double. And I want to buy coffee or so. Do you want a double? What's that? That's something really new to me, and that's one of the points. I could see. Okay, there's some difference for that. I have to learn for that. You have to try to adapt for that, because you're gonna start a new life. You're gonna start a new adventure right here. Eventually, you have to familiar with it. Why not now? That's why. That's what I actually thought about when I actually come here. Plus, I don't know how to do it. How to take a TTC bus. I'm afraid that I actually just go over right for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when to ring the bell to stop for that.
Yeah.
That's something new to me as well. Try to make sure that first of all you have some guidance in a way, and like try to make some friends for that to just give you some more like local tips. That those are not being taught by the books or by the news for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now more and more people are making their vlogs, video blogs, or like try to share their adventure as well on different kinds of social media. Try to learn that. Try to use that as all of your resources to just go to a new place for that. That's something I really recommend as well. That's why actually I kind of record a whole 4 months of experiences working here, like as BoxOut. So I've been already make like for out of first one is around 19 vlogs for me, and this week is gonna be the last one. Like all these kind of experiences I want to share to the public. It's like I want to let them know like how the internship is like.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't need to be afraid of that, or like at least you have something to just relate to them. Once you were in there, you can just go back to my videos, or just go back to other vlogs for that. Just make sure like I'm not doing the wrong thing, or like this is something like similar. This is I create for that. There's some like, the solutions for that actually when I actually meet some of the circumstances also.
Yeah, you wanna share your experience. You wanna share your times. You wanna be that advocate for the future. Students, athletes, whatever the case may be that come from these international countries, and just show them, hey, at first it might feel tough. At first it might feel uncomfortable, but it gets better.
Exactly.
And especially through the adaptability thing. And there's that famous saying too from the U.S. Navy SEALs: "Be comfortable feeling uncomfortable." Right? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Too? So that's a big one. So no, that's great, and yeah, we've been watching your vlogs for the past 19th week. I'm excited for 20 since it will be the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great, man, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna appreciate your posting because it's important. It's so important to realize that no one's alone. No one they might feel alone, but again, through communication, it's key, and talking and knowing that people are gonna be out there. It's okay to feel different.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to feel like that we don't know everything. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel happy. It's who we are. We're human at the end of the day. And that's so important to understand that where you touched a lot of what you were saying there is about another one of the traits we mentioned. We'll be talking in future podcasts is growth mindset. You got to be looking at everything as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be afraid to make mistakes. You can't be afraid to try new things. Because at the end of the day, that's what helps us grow as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
If we continue to stay in that shell and stay in that comfort zone, we'll never live life by the fullest. We'll never live life to our highest potential. And again, before BoxOut, I used to be like that. And I just speak with more passion now because I've been through it and I've been, doing my stuff with my clients, talking to people every day and seeing each client is different. Obviously, we know that, but just seeing the way when they talk, I just see myself in them sometimes, and it's just like I try to just show them like you gotta take life day by day, step by step.
Step by step.
We keep saying about the step by step, and continue to grow as much as possible. But but yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming in today. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time for sure. I shared some of my personal experiences. I hope that may help you in a way in the future for sure. That's my ultimate goal for that.
Yeah, no, we would definitely love that. We'll still obviously keep in touch. I know you'll be busy going to school next week.
Yeah.
So when do you start? Next Thursday?
Next Wednesday or Thursday? I'm not sure.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have the different dates, like Thursday, the people on Friday, Monday, and stuff like that. So, but we wish you all the best.
Thank you for that.
We'll always be here.
Mm-hmm.
You're still part of the BoxOut team, even though you're a student. So, keep doing you. Keep doing trying the new things, like to sort of say.
Yeah, try the new things.
Try to use it. And for the record, a double is 2 milks, 2 sugars.
Yeah, 2 milks, 2 sugars. I know that for now.
2 milks, 2 sugars. And about the TTC, I've been here for 30 plus years and I still haven't used the TTC. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But David, we really appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you again.
Yep.
And thank you guys for joining us for podcast number 3. Check it out on our YouTube page, Spotify, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Take care.
Yep.